If you don't know where to begin, better ask when.
Winston, very good to see you. This video today is a public service announcement. Do not take a loan from your 401k. According to Transamerica Center for Retirement, about 34 to 37% of workers have either taken a loan, early withdrawal, or a hardship withdrawal from their 401k. And most people think that they are borrowing from themselves when they take a 401k loan. But according to Vanguard, the average 401k balance in 2024 was just $121,000, which of course is not enough already for retirement. So how could taking money out, even temporarily, set you back?
Well, you got to ask yourself, what is the 401k for, right? It's for to augment my retirement and my Social Security and maybe pension income. So if you take a loan or you borrow against it and you don't repay it, let's say, you're really borrowing against your future income needs. Mm-hmm. And that's a slippery slope for a lot of people, right? If they only have $120,000 in a 401k, that's a pretty easy tool to fund, right? Because of the pathways of your contributions to your payroll, your employer match. You probably don't have a lot of other money in savings. And so it becomes an attractive source, but you got to be real careful with it.
Right. And one of the main reasons why you shouldn't be tapping that money is the power of compound interest. Fidelity found that a 30-year-old who borrows $10,000 and misses just 5 years of growth could lose more than $25,000 by retirement. Can you explain how this works?
Well, it's the magic of compounding interest. Your principal earns interest, your interest earns interest, the money you would have paid in taxes earns interest, and it all grows nicely. But when you take a chunk out, it's just not there. And you just really create a big hole that exaggerates over time. It gets worse over time the longer that money's not in there.
Mm-hmm. Right. And a lot of people don't realize that repayments on a 401k loan are made with after-tax dollars, and then withdrawals in retirement are taxed again as ordinary income. This is a double tax hit.
Yeah, because you paid taxes, or maybe you deferred taxes to get the money in there in the first place, but now you take the loan and you're going to make a payment, comes right out of your paycheck with after-tax dollars to go back in there and repay that loan. You're getting spanked on that deal.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah. So now let's talk through what you're actually giving up. If you do not repay that loan, what do you lose?
Well, you lose a lot if you do not repay the loan. First recommendation, repay the loan.
Right.
But a lot of people don't. And you subjugate yourself to local and state taxes. Here in Arizona, it's about 2.5%. Then you're going to get an early withdrawal penalty if you're under 59.5. Boom, 10% excise penalty and federal tax withholding on the whole thing. So you really run the risk of paying a lot of money that you really didn't intend to pay when you started the account.
Mm-hmm. And Winston, when we were talking offline, you brought up a good point, which is that those loans are typically due if you ever leave your employer. And with people averaging, changing jobs every 4 years, you got to pay that loan back in 4 years.
Yeah. I have a very dear friend that took money out of his 401k and lived to regret it because he did not anticipate what was coming when he took the money out, lost his job. And when he lost his job, he didn't have a conduit to make that loan repayment through from his earnings anymore. And he had to pay it out of his money that he had, which he didn't have. Mm-hmm. So he's already in a bad spot. And then this thing blew up on him. So really, really be careful about taking money out, especially if you think your job that you're working at, the host of your 401k, if that's on unsettled ground, Don't do it. Don't do it.
So before we tap our 401k, what should we consider first?
Well, I want you to consider what the 401k is for in the first place. We are trying to get to that summit. Our goal is to save, accumulate, build wealth so that we can reach a point when we're older and we're tired and we want to retire, that we have that tool to roll into an IRA or something that can augment our income. And if you take from that, if you're robbing from Peter to pay Paul, it never works out really good for the overall plan. That's maybe a long answer to a short question, but kind of how I look at it.
Well, and I know you prioritize making sure your clients have a robust emergency fund too.
Yeah, an emergency fund is so essential. A lot of people think it's hokey. It's not hokey. You want to have in reserve, I don't know, different thresholds for different people. $15 to $50 to maybe $100,000, depending on your lifestyle. Maybe it's just sitting in the bank. Maybe it's not really earning a lot of interest, but it's there.
Mm-hmm.
You need to tap
when you need it. Yeah, well said. Well, Winston, if somebody would like to talk to you more about, how they can allocate their money to make sure they are well positioned for now and for retirement, what's the best way to reach you?
Well, two great ways. Number one is through our website, winstonandcompanies.com. You go on there, you'll see, schedule a time to visit. We encourage people to go onto our Calendly, set up a 15-minute initial consultation. And if things work out right and it's good to get together, we'll set up an appointment from there. Or if you'd rather, you could just pick up the telephone, go old school, call us at the office, 602-456-1928, and we'll be glad to visit with you.
Great. Winston, thank you.
Thank you so much, Erin.
Got a plan for your retirement, 'cause you know it's just down the road. But if you don't know where to begin, better ask when.